analysis, fresh. You can also follow us on our social media platforms showing on your screen. People's Television, powered by you.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
All right, from Kano to Lagos, Lagos to Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt to Kaduna, Kaduna to Jos. We can go on in telling you where and how you can find PTV. It's new day, and I want to say a big welcome to our maiden edition as far as 2018 is concerned. And this is new day. We'll be looking at some very, very important and trending issues. You know, making the polity, hitting our sporting life and all of that. It's going to be an all-encompassing show. I can tell you that again and again. My name is Pius Samuel, and I won't be doing this all alone. I've got a very, very vivacious, if you ask me, a very, very outspoken, but very calm also co-host, and she's no any other than Aisha Jibril. Aisha, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How was your night?
It was wonderful, I must say. Yeah, the weather was quite friendly, so I slept well.
Yeah, I like the word friendly.
Yeah, it was. It was friendly. And I hope, you all are out of bed and are awake right now, listening to us. We have a lineup of programs for you. We have a lot for this morning, from trending stories to newspaper reviews to the story of today. Now let me allow you start off.
Yeah, Aisha, let's just keep our viewers abreast as far as some of the happenings that took place yesterday. The most important one, if you ask me, was the IGP's story.
True.
He was summoned, and for the second time in less than a week, this guy outrightly declined from appearing physically in the Senate.
The first time when this happened last week, and he was so that, he ignored the House because, he went on a trip with the president and all of that, he came out to say, okay, there's a part of the code and in the constitution where if he can't make it, he could send a representative, which he did. But yesterday, I think to the best of my knowledge, there was no such statement. There was nothing to actually justify it the way he justified it the last time. So now it begs the question, what is happening? Is he,
above the law?
Those are the questions that come to mind.
Yeah. Is he above the law or not?
And then, on a lighter note, not, talking about, because I'll call it lighter. For us, it might be lighter, but for him, it might not be lighter. I'm talking about the senator.
Too.
Yes, it might not be light. It might not be light. Senator didn't be light. Why I said this, a senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District. He's been in the news all through the last 2 weeks. And it seemed like it's been from one drama to another. People on the outside are, is this really happening, or is this a script that we're seeing? From the lineup of events, what do you think?
Well, I was actually at his residence, somewhere around Maitama district, and what I saw that very day was pathetic, was very uncalled for, if you ask me. We have a lot of criminals walking our streets, freely, and this is a federal lawmaker who is being downgraded, brought down to the lowest app, if you ask me, and it's not a good one for me. I think I liked what he did at the end of the day. He personally submitted himself, to the security operatives, and even yesterday there was another twist to the story. So things keep unfolding, up to yesterday, after the purported jumping off a moving vehicle and all of that. He was actually hospitalized, and we saw the pictures, either politically hospitalized or physically hospitalized, but there is a hospital and there is a lies, if you ask me. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this, for all that to have played out, I think, for me, I think it's a script, because what has he really done? You said he allegedly, armed some few youths that the police are claiming that they arrested, and they implicated him. And we've seen Dino's arrest. We've seen Dino's arrest on newspaper. We've seen where the police, PPRO, come out to say that he's a wanted man. He's on the wanted list, on Interpol and all of that. And we also, were made to understand that when the website of the Interpol was visited, his name was not on that list. What I'm saying in essence is, if he is guilty, he should be made to face the law. Nobody is above the law. But if he is not, they should not turn our polity, to a child's play. Because for me, it's like, it's a normal thing. Today we are here, tomorrow we are there, and I can tell that we can still go on and on and on in expecting so much drama before the 2019 election. Don't forget, Issa Misal was also had, his own part of the story to tell, where he was also indicting the police IG, for some flimsy, if you ask me,
this is turning out to be a caricature, I must say, because you're looking at things where you have a problem with, senator. The one that amazes me is the fact that everyone around him seems to get arrested. Like his brothers that he spoke about, and then we had a claim, heard of a claim where two of his lawyers were also arrested. So it's now, if you have a problem with this person, if it's not a witch hunt, like you said, a witch hunt rather, all of these things should not come to play. They should be procedures, lay down procedures, and all of that. Now, moving away from that, it's not like, but then moving on to something that just passed. We're talking about May 1st, Workers' Day. It was just around the corner. And we definitely have to talk about it because there were so many things out there. But the one that struck me the most, is that of the 66,500 naira minimum wage that, the NLC is saying they would not back down on. What can you say? Do you think that amount is enough? Or do you think the amount Ike Ekweremadu is suggesting, 50,000 naira, is more appropriate?
Well, for me, I think that's I don't know how to put it, but 66,000 naira. Now let's take this is my own analysis.
Okay.
Now, when this administration came to power, a whole lot of Nigerians felt a sigh of relief, with the hope that things were going to get better. Now, I'm not saying things are not getting better. I'm not saying things aren't getting better. So the choice is for the viewer to make. But what I'm trying to say here is this. You came on board, and the first thing you did was to increase tariff for electricity, from a particular percentage to another percentage. Fine. A lot of agitations and all of that. People felt, okay, let's just cope and see if the power situation was going to get better. Now, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months and all of that, we had an increase in petroleum product from 87 to, you understand, well, we are getting it now, 145. Some places are getting it for as high as 200 naira per litre and all of that. Now, with the same 18,000 naira, will you be able to meet all your needs? Even with 66,000 naira, will you, at the end of the day, be able to meet your needs? I said these and more are some of the things we'll be talking about. But at this point in time, we'd like to take a very short break. And when we come back, we'll first of all go through our newspaper review, and then we hit the discussion proper. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For innovative research-based analysis, fresh news and programs, join us on PTV, the People's Oriented Station, transmitting on Star Times Channel 120, showing across 36 states in Nigeria, and Channel 77 on Strong Decoder across 52 countries. Yes, you asked for it. Now you have the best of television. You can also follow us on our social media platforms showing on your screen. People's Television, powered by you.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Adam, go and bring us your husband. Okay, hello baby.
We're in this together, okay? Can you hear me? Keep coming forward.
Wait, stop.
You okay? Lean to your right. Keep walking down. Keep walking to the left. Yes.
You're almost here.
Keep going.
You are here. Wow, you did it.
I'm just so glad I didn't have to use my cane to do this.
And I am so glad no other man got you before me. Let me be your eyes.
We will never stop working to give you a network you can rely on so you can enjoy life's special moments. MTN, everywhere you go.
For innovative research-based analysis, fresh news and programs, join us on PTV, the People's Oriented Station, transmitting on Star Times Channel 120, showing across 36 states in Nigeria, and Channel 77 on Strong Decoder across 52 countries. Yes, you asked for it. Now you have the best of television. You can also follow us on our social media platforms showing on your screen. People's Television, powered by you.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
All right, welcome back from that short break. You know, we have to pay some bills so that we can have, you know, enough money in our bank account. Yeah. Aisha, we have to pay bills. Right?
Definitely, I agree. So
Alright.
those breaks are necessary.
All right, very quickly, let's go through our newspapers, and we will be reviewing the e-copies. We hope you follow us diligently and get one or two informations that will help you navigate through today's activities. Depends on where you're heading for and what exactly you will be engaging in today. All right, the first paper I have here, the e-copy, is the Vanguard newspaper. One of the stories here says, Air Force to deploy 4 attack planes to Southeast. Air Force to deploy 4 attack planes to the Southeast. Now, Aisha, do you think all of this will help curb the insecurity?
You know, when I heard about this, I felt relieved. You know, that's it's been a long time coming. Saying things like, when you hear about, you know, the money from the ECA that was collected to get fighter jets, it goes to show that, okay, we still have, we're not handicapped per se. It's not like there's nothing to help fight insecurity in the country. These jets are proof. You know, these aircraft are proof that, okay, let's send it to this part and then make, you know, the fight against insurgency much easier, help the soldiers, you know, in doing all of that. I see this as, you know, a move in the right direction, basically. I can't say because the manpower would have to, but then I see this as it's expected to be a nudge, you know, to help make things better. So hopefully,
I think I want to align myself with you. And, you know, a couple of days ago, we actually had the Director of Defense Information who also gave us, you know, some kind of hints or insight into some of the operations, especially in the Northeast. And that reminds me, just a couple of days back, 2 days back, there was an explosion in Mubi. in Adamawa
was
State,
sad.
and the casualty figure as we speak is still being upgraded by the day. As at yesterday, we had like 26 people were confirmed dead, and about 56 or thereabout, critically injured. I saw some videos, from one of our sister stations. It was really, really pathetic.
The thing that touched me the most is the suicide bomber. The person who wore the vest was a kid.
2 of them.
It's sad. It's sad how we've got to that point where I wonder that it just, what happens to the psyche of that person? What did they promise the parents of that person? Were there no other options? Things like that, questions like that come to mind, because for you to decide as a man, okay, if a man says, okay, I'm going the way of insurgency, I would let's do this and take care of my family, my wife and my kids. I would say it's understandable, but you could, find a way to reason with it weirdly. But this, it's nothing to write about.
Yeah, I also had the opportunity to be a defense correspondent, some couple of years back. And one of the briefings we had was that, some parents actually surrender their kids, to these guys. They say, I have a son, I'm giving him to you. I have a daughter, I'm giving her to you.
So they produce.
So you understand, yeah. So, but I feel, for me, I think it's very, very uncalled for, because if I should, have a boy or a kid, and my wife will have to go through 9 months, of labor and all of the vomiting and spitting and all of that, and at the end of the day, I will now surrender that innocent boy or girl to somebody out there whose ideology might not even be what I believe in. I think it's very, very uncalled for. I don't know, maybe we need a kind of orientation. I don't know, maybe we need a kind of, understanding as far as this country is concerned. I lived most of my life in the North. I know these people. I speak, some of their languages. I understand them very well. An average Northerner is a friendly person.
True. I must agree.
I was at Dapchi. Immediately those girls were kidnapped. The following day I was on my way to Dapchi. I got to Dapchi that same day because I flew into Maiduguri, then drove down to Damaturu. I can tell you that immediately I landed and I got an airport taxi that took me to the park where I would get a bus to Dapchi. I was given Nunu, Fura de Nunu.
Talking about Nunu this morning, I'm not trying to make light of the conversation, but that just brings memories. Continue.
So I had to take that, and I was a little bit relaxed. In fact, they gave me a special seat. They put me in front. They ought to have taken 2 people there, but I was the only one. They
being
gave
that
the
you were a
front seat,
visitor.
And I was like, wow. And don't forget, my dad happens to be a military officer. He served in Maiduguri, so I know Maiduguri very well. So these are guys that, at any given point, they can go all out for you. But with the insurgency, I can tell you that the story is no longer the same. The story is no longer the same. We just hope that an end will come to all of this as quickly as possible, Aisha.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You have any paper with you?
Okay, yes. Right here, also the Vanguard, I am seeing Boko Haram Red Cross reunites mother-daughter after 4 years.
Wow.
This just brings, joy to my heart.
Yeah, it's joyful, but also emotional.
It is.
4 years after.
It is 4 years after. But then that's one thing. A lifetime after, this should take us to BBOG. They still have their daily sit-outs. They still... A parent's hurt can never go. Even if it's 20 years after, 50 years after, you'd see that the parents would gladly accept the kids. You just spoke about, how people, give out their kids for, all of these things. And then what just came to my heart with fear is the fact that these girls that, we hear of reports that they are being married off, the girls that were kidnapped and all of that, they're married off and all. I feel this is what these marriages and all of that towards, because why would they kidnap people and then start, reproducing with them, get married to them, have them staying with them, if it's not to create and, further broaden their nation? It's quite sad. So for a mother like this, to be reunited with her daughter, it's a wonderful
4 years
one.
after, I can just imagine the picture of, the mother seeing the daughter.
And I'm quite emotional.
No, please,
if I was
don't be
there,
emotional.
I'll just drop 1 or 2 tears.
But I can just imagine how the parents will feel. And Sakilda, one of the journalists in Nigeria who is based in Dubai,
Yeah.
you know, gave a very, very stunned, revelation some couple of weeks back. You know, that is there about 13 or 15 of them are the ones left as we speak. You know, that alone will send a kind of trauma, you know, down the nerves of the parents of some of those girls that are actually believing God that someday, somehow, these girls will appear and say, "Mommy, I'm back. Daddy, I'm back." Now, with that story, I begin to wonder how would they feel. And sometimes the BBOG also came out to say that, you know, a number of some of the parents of the Chibok girls are actually no more.
Yeah.
So if you juxtapose all of this together, you will believe, and maybe you want to come along with me that it's not going to be an easy, you know, situation to run through, you know, especially with all of these insecurities and all of that. As we speak, you know, we had an interview on our news with one of the journalists in Maiduguri,
Yes,
Jack
yes.
Vins. He told us clearly that the insurgents are still active. That's a very, very catchy word. It's going to remain, you know, indelible in my memory. These guys are still active, and that's the truth. And a couple of days after, we had a bomb explosion in Movie in Adamawa State. So that is to tell you that these guys are really, really active.
True, and then, you know, when statements like that are made, it just go alongside with the, you know, reports that was online in the media platform where there were allegations that some parts of Borno and Yobe have been overtaken, you know, by insurgents, and they've gotten to the point of, you know, collecting taxes
From the locals.
as much as 2,500 naira for their cows. Do you understand? And 1,500 naira for smaller animals. It's like they are now the bosses of the place. We had a, you know, telephone call with the, you know, Director of Defense Information where, you know, he of course refuted that and said, you know, there's nothing like that happening and all of that. But then, you know, Jack Vins came up to tell us they're active. So that just, we're scared. Those of us on this part of, you know, the country do not, I can't say we understand what's going on there, because if someone is there and, you know, is in constant fear and you have to do all of these things, it's just, it's a really sad one.
But the truth of the matter is that our security agencies are really doing well, and we need to give them all of the kudos and all of that. And believe me, on a daily basis, I don't have the statistics, but I know that in as much as these guys are active, I can also tell you that some of our security operatives,
largely,
you know, on the front line are also, you know, paying the supreme price. You know, a couple of days ago, about, was it 14 of them, somewhere in Kaduna or so, you know, were killed, you know, talking about our military officers and all that. So what I'm trying to say here is that they are really doing very well.
True, they are.
All we need to do is to support them. Insurgency is not a conventional warfare. You know, you need to understand the tricks and the modus operandi of your enemy. And these are guys that don't have a particular modus operandi. All they do is just like a guerrilla warfare. They go out, they say, "Oh, this place is nice, let's go there," and, you know, they carry out their heinous attacks and all of that, especially on soft targets. What we're trying to say here is that our security agencies are doing very well. We also believe that they can do much more. A couple of days ago, there was a collaboration between the US and the Nigerian military. They had some trainings and all of that. We also believe that this will go a long way. And come 2020, who knows, maybe the Tucano might be the angel that we have all been waiting for patiently.
When I hear Tucano Jets, it just, there's a lot to it. That's the thing. We see it, and then it's, to me personally, I kind of felt, 2020? Really?
It's just around the corner, Aisha.
It's not around the corner.
No, insurgency has been on for almost a decade.
Yeah, it has.
Now, if we are patient enough for just a few years to 2020,
quick question.
next year is 2019.
Will Tucano Jets serve our problems? It's like, I don't know how I'm saying it in my head. I just see something really flashy, like a machine, someone gets a new ride, and then you feel like all of your problems will be solved because you have this car.
Well. It probably, and this is my candid opinion, it might not outrightly decimate these guys, but maybe to a large extent, it will curb their activities and take out a few of them, you know, that can be cited, because you cannot, these guys are not spirits, you know, some of them that can be cited. And in a couple of days' time, I think on the 8th of May or thereabout, the Lake Chad Basin governors, you know, talking of Niger, Chad, Nigeria and all that, they will be meeting in Maiduguri on May the 8th, you know, to talk about regional solutions that could help curb insurgency, not just in Nigeria, but around that axis, within Lake Chad and all of that. So I believe with all of this put together, I just hope there's not going to be the same rhetorics, the same narratives after the whole meeting. I remember the National Assembly held, a security meeting at the NAF Center at Kado, a couple of months ago. We're all thinking that, okay, maybe the summit will bring out something positive. But in all of the security summits, where are they leading us to? You understand? All of this, we've had a handful of it. Now, the governors around the Lake Chad Basin will be meeting in Maiduguri for like 2 days, I think, all in search of lasting solution to curbing insurgency, especially in Nigeria. I hope
so too,
that it will bring the desired result that not just Nigeria is looking out for, all of the world. We saw what Donald Trump said to our president, a couple of days back, that he feels and he knows that, insurgency is ravaging us in Nigeria.
It is.
And, the U.S. is going to give us all the support. And they have started by, first of all, allowing us to buy the Tucano fighter jet. Fine, beautiful. The region, the Lake Chad region, is also coming up with a summit with all of the governors coming together. I believe the president will also be there. I just hope that the resolution will be put into action so that we'll have at least after a long time of battle, let's have relative peace so that we can move on as a nation. As it is, the chunk of the money is going on security.
That's the saddest thing.
The chunk of it.
That's the saddest. There's a lot to do with money.
A lot. A lot.
When I think about it, but then these lives that are being lost, it cannot be ignored.
Yeah,
you hear they need how many $1 billion per insecurity, and then you feel there are other sectors though.
Yeah, sure.
But
sure.
it's because of the increase in, the killings and all of that's happening. That's why it's sad. To agree with what you said about the, security operatives trying, look at the headsman that was just arrested,
in
ED,
yeah.
that was arrested in Benue, that was yesterday, and, he made the number of headsmen that have been arrested to 4.
Yeah.
That is a good news. That's something, okay, it's not just, the headsman issue in Benue State is more of the guerrilla warfare, like you said. They're faceless, at least the insurgents, the Boko Haram, who these guys are. They've come out to say, okay, we're the ones doing this. They take responsibility for most of their killings and their actions. But the headsmen, there's no face. They're faceless bulldogs. So you don't know who to attack. And you can't come for the Fulanis. You can't come for the headers in general, because it's not them that are doing this crime. But we can't pinpoint the people that are. But with these arrests, it's a step in the right direction, knowing that, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. At least our security operatives have an idea, what they're doing, and they're really trying their best.
Yeah, I think I want to align myself with what you just said. I think is the right step, on the right direction. But all we're trying to say here is that, those at the helms of affairs should ensure that the security of lives and properties of their followers is paramount in everything they do. Governor Tom ought to be on vacation, some couple of weeks ago, and I think few days to his vacation, there was a massive attack. He called short his vacation and came back to Benue State. So that is to tell that these guys are still active, like Jack Vince told us, and now they are spreading their tentacles across the country. It's also in the southeast. It's also, in the southwest, pockets of killings and all of that, headers, farmers, clashes, and all that. We just hope that all this will come to an end as quickly as possible.
Yes, we do hope so.
All right. Yesterday, codeine.
This just makes a particular song come to mind. That song that was, trending on social media.
Yeah.
Something more of the like, I don't know how to sing, but na igbo and codeine, Imama Wanamo, something in that nature. It was, it's not funny, but it's sad.
Yeah, sure.
That's the thing. It's really sad. Why would we have a situation where our youths, our younger generation decide that this is the path that they want to tread, this is where they want to go? Codeine is something. Codeine is not the only drug, but I'm saying codeine because that's where this started. Yes, okay. Look at the Senate President talking about the documentary that BBC did and was on sweet codeine. You understand? That is the major one. It's something you get everywhere before this ban, you know, was placed. It's something you go, you have cough, and then, you know, you prescribe to it, take this. And I don't know why we humans just find a way of abusing things to the extent that you take that to just feel a particular way. It's really sad. This has affected kids, this has affected relationships, this has affected a lot. So I think this is a right step, you know, in the right direction. Now, talking about the ban that was placed, that was announced, you know, by the Minister of Health, Isaac Odewale, what would you say, what do you think about this?
Well, I feel it's the right step. I feel this is long overdue, but I feel they should have done more, because it's not just the codeine aspect. There are other drugs, you know, that also make these guys to go gaga, you know.
Sometimes it makes them calm.
Well, calm.
I think I've seen somebody.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody in that zone before, and I was just looking. They get very solemn and calm and sober, and they cannot talk, and their eyes become like my eyes, like they want to sleep. Continue what you're saying.
Well, your eyes are pretty white, and I know that you are not
They're
on any
bright.
substance.
They're not.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that, you know, it's not a welcome development.
It's not.
You know, but the federal government, for me, I think I want to give them kudos for taking our time, you know, to prescribe codeine, you know, banning it outrightly. But the question is, will this ban be adhered to?
True.
Will this ban be adhered to? We tried all we could to speak with the Director General of NAFDAC yesterday, but she was a little bit indisposed. You know, she's not within the city center. But we hope that we're going to bring her on this show someday so that she can throw more light on the ban on codeine and other substances. Because either we like it or not, there are other little substances that these guys go out there to sniff or to take. So, for me, kudos to the government. But the question is, will this ban be adhered to? We have, I don't know if our pharmacy stores in Nigeria have a database.
See, Deb, do you know, can I say something with that statement you just made? You just said if our pharmacy. I was talking to someone recently, and the person was telling me of how a pharmacist, you know, trained pharmacist, who has a license to, you know, open a pharmacy store and everything, sold the license, you know, to someone else who is using it currently to open and run, you know, a pharmacy. And I was amazed. If things like that can happen, then anyone who is not supposed to can have a pharmacy and start selling these things.
Sure.
The person is doing this, you know, going illegally and all of that because the person just wants to make money on the side.
Yeah.
And then people are tripping in to say, give me codeine, give me this, give me that, and you're now telling the person not to sell. What are the measures, like you said? What are the things that are going to be on ground to make sure, okay, they said, you know, the production of codeine, maybe if they don't see it in the market, but what happens to the black market? What happens to small?
What happens to the black market? That's yeah, black market. I think that's the good name. That's a good name to
Yeah,
to
that's
give
what
to,
I
yeah.
thought.
Because I also showed someone yesterday. I did a report about drugs. It's on my phone. I showed someone yesterday. I went to Kano and I did a report on drugs. You need to see little children sniffing and taking this substance in high capacity, in high volume. And maybe after the show, I will show you the clip. You will weep for this country. You will feel so bad for this country. I am telling you what I have done. I'm not telling you from what BBC has. I am telling you what I have done personally in Kano State. So this issue is not just someone sitting down somewhere and saying that, oh, we have banned codeine. No, you have to put up security measures. You have to put up monitoring measures, because, like I said, I don't know if our pharmacists, you know, and our pharmacy, including the pharmacists, have a database, because that's the only way you can be able to track.
True.
You know, in case there are illicit sales of all of these banned substances. Some of them don't have it on their shelves, but they have it in their inner room.
That one that it closed, and then you say you want to buy something. They're like, I'm coming, let me go and bring it. They'll now go in.
They will not go in and bring it out for you. You know, so
It's sad.
yeah, it's sad.
It's
So I
sad.
just hope that
It's
the
sad.
government will put some of these security measures, you know, in place, so that at the end of the day, the ban will be strictly adhered to. Otherwise, it's just going to be banned on paper and selling physically. And we
It
don't
just
want
make, like you said, it just make people more careful. It just make people know that, okay, they're to hide, you know, this kind of things, because it's crazy. I remember when I was in camp, you know, back then, I could see they had, you know, codeine, and it was something that was everywhere. Like, oh, you have cough, go and buy this, and then people just take it, and it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, now talking about other substances that you spoke about, like there are crazy things that people do to get high and feel that some type of way. I was talking to my mom one time, and she was telling me about a conversation she was having with someone, and he told her that people now, I'm talking about in Lagos, there's some people who sniff gum. And the one that actually blew me away was they sniff pit latrine and get high from that. It just
Have you heard of lizard dunks before?
that is poo-poo, lizard.
Yes. They sniff it.
These things are. My problem is, what are in these things that actually make? Is it their minds? I think I need more insight to this.
Yeah.
Is it the mind? Is it that, okay, when they just sniff it, they just feel like, oh, okay, I should feel some type of way, or it actually makes them feel that way?
Well, of course they feel that way, and from their body movement, you know that this person is not normal. This person must be, you know, relying or reacting on something. It's not normal. You know, once they have that stuff on, I traveled to Adamawa State, Yola precisely. I traveled to Yola precisely one time, and I saw a very young guy hitting his head on the ground, right on an electric pole. He was just shouting, ah, bo, ah, bo. I was just like, and people surrounded him and they were just watching. And they were laughing that, oh, he has taken overdose. Overdose of what? These are some of the things we're talking about. Aisha, we have a lot to talk about as far as codeine and other banned substances, you know, are concerned. All right, very quickly, let's not belabor you with so much talk. We want to also let you know what the weather condition will look like, so that in case you're just leaving your house, you know what to put on, in case the weather will be, you know, a little bit cold for you, or in case it's going to be very sunny, don't go and wear a winter jacket. All right, weather report, and we'll be right back. New day on PTV, and together with Aisha, we've been looking at the codeine ban and some other substances that the average Nigerian youth, some of them, are using to make themselves high. But we'll also open the phone lines so that we can also have your views or contributions as far as codeine ban is concerned. But before we get to that, Aisha, Abuja will be 29 degrees Celsius today, and we'll be expecting thunderstorm. What do you think Abuja residents should be doing at this point?
I think Abuja residents are lucky. I'm just sad that it's a weekday.
Well, for me, I think the residents of the FCT should be very, very careful, because if you drive along some parts of the FCT, you see that people come out in the morning and pour their refuge on waterways and all of that. True. That can also, bring up flooding, and that will not be good for all of us, because if the water comes and there's no way for it to pass through and all of that, it might just take a U-turn and start coming into into our houses and all of that. So I really want to caution that we should be very, very careful when it comes to where we dump our waste. As far as FCT is concerned. Now,
talking about Kano State that has 40 degrees Celsius, a part of my heart goes out to you guys, because there's nothing like the sun. The sun, it just has a way of, it confuses you. You leave your house with ideas in your head, and you go under the sun, and then you just get...
And then you're blank.
You understand? So I think you should be ready. I think, people in Kano should not, come out in black clothes, to prevent, sweat and all of that. Come out with bright colors. It would help you, feel, a little bit airy and breezy and all of that, and just prepare your mind that today I'm going to encounter the sun.
Yeah,
but then
Port Harcourt for me, I think, would be very, very friendly as far as
yes, it is. It would be better than Abuja.
Than Abuja,
26, yes.
26 degrees Celsius.
Yes, it would be. And then we saw Lagos, with 31 degrees, and Enugu with 37. So the weather would be friendly all round. It's just Kano that we can say would be have much of sun.
It's time to go back to the farm.
Yes, it is. So you can start investing. It is.
All right, let's go back to our topic of discuss, and that is the ban on codeine. In case you're watching us, the line will be thrown open so that we'll, get your own feel. Let's know exactly what the situation is in your own area, wherever you're watching us from. Let's know what the situation is in your own area as it relates to drug abuse, codeine substance, tramadol, I don't know, Pataline,
the names,
all of the lean and all of that.
The lean, it's sad. That's why you have things called science students. I think those are the things that because it's the drugs. When you're calling, also call with your contributions, to tell us not just the complaints and all of that, things that could be done, because of course not everyone know if there could be some contributions from you that would go a long way, and people have not thought about this, and they'll just pick this and act on it, and it would be for the betterment of us all.
Yeah, Aisha, apart from the Minister of Health, I know we have NAFDAC, and we have NDLE.
Yes.
Now, do you think there should be a synergy, from these three arms of government, or these three ministries or departments of government, in curbing the ban that has been effected, or that has been or pronounced by the federal government a couple of hours ago? Do you think there should be a synergy? I know they've been trying, but do you think there should be greater synergy?
Yes, of course, because even in the statement, when you read the press release that Isaac Adewale, gave out, he also stated this, that there are measures put in place for all sister agencies, to make sure to implement these things.
Okay, well, let me cut you short there. We have Adamu from Yola. Adamu, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Yes, good morning.
Adamu, can you be a little bit audible?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yes, a wonderful topic you guys are talking about.
Thank you very much.
Because it is everyone now. Small children are taking drugs as if it is pure water.
Sad.
And it makes me to wonder, is this the future of our country? When other countries are innovating good things, our own. Go to all our universities. all, not only the men people, even the people that cannot even afford 1 square meal. Any small money they have, it is on drugs. And this is not good for our country.
Now, Adamu, can you give us a feel of this substance, in and around Yola? Have you seen anyone reacting under some of these substances that we're talking about?
It is a very, very open market now. You can buy drugs anywhere. But the ban as it is placed now, we have not seen any effect of it. We have not seen anybody arresting anybody. We don't know when it will take effect.
Yes. Now, Adamu, could you, give us some sort of suggestions? Like, having seen these things, having, noticed that the pharmacies and the drugs are available to any and everybody, what can you say, they can do? What can the people like you also do, to help the situation? Because, like they say, it takes a community.
Yes. It is just very worrisome because even the security operatives that are supposed to arrest these people, they are the one who, even when you go there, you see them sitting with these boys and girls, playing and doing the same. So where do we run to? Are we going to go to heaven to bring this to come and do it? Because our own even security operatives, they are involved.
That's sad.
That's an allegation. That's it. The people that are, there to protect and, and now the ones that are, doing that. That's sad. Because how else? Like they say, Adam, you're the one, you're the younger generation and the younger ones are looking, to you. I think, the security officials, should be listening to this and, take actions. Thank you so much for your contribution, Adamu.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Right, I think Adamu has said it all.
He has.
Because this is like a first-hand information. He's right there in Yola. He knows exactly what the terrain looks like. He knows exactly what the environment looks like. He knows exactly what those guys do, at every point in time. He made a very salient statement. He said, these drugs are very, very, very expensive. And these guys go all out, to use their last card, to buy just a bottle of this substance we are talking about. And aside that, let me make something clear. Aside that, someone was telling me that, if it gets to a point that they don't even have the money to buy some of these drugs, they go to the extent of dropping their cars or their phones as deposits.
That's what happens
for them
with
to
addiction.
just have a bottle of this banned substance we are talking about. Aisha, it's pathetic.
That's what happens to addiction. You hear, in the Western world, you hear about countries that have, rehab system. We do. I think I've heard of a few in Nigeria, but it's not out there. There's no awareness. Let's talk therapy. People will tell you therapy is not. Some of these things have to do with your mind. They tell you it's not our culture, it's not what we do, but most people just want to talk to someone because this is another form of addiction and there's several others, but this is one that right now is what the Senate is discussing and they're working on, and with this ban and all of that, it's just sad. I think we should come from the angle of the human relations where you should have someone to talk to. There are lots of people who don't have friends or family to rely on. They should be able to know that they could go talk to someone, very confidential. I feel in Nigeria, we should inculcate therapy.
All right, we have Shola from Mina. Hello, Shola. Thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, thanks for joining
Calling
us.
from Mina, Shola from Mina.
Yeah, Shola, thank you. Go ahead with your contribution.
You have a nice and wonderful topic going on, ban of codeine substances.
Thank you.
Because the rate at which Nigerian youth consume that substance now is alarming and intoxicating, which leads to various misbehaviors and what have you from the youth. And unfortunately, from the view of things, these substances, where they are doing so, you find most of our law enforcement agencies, they are the ones guiding those people selling those substances, and as if they are even promoting it. Instead of them to enforce and restrict the selling of these substances, they are the ones still enhancing it, assisting them in selling those substances. Nowadays, you go to far north, you also observe that even those, there are some youths now do sniff pits. Pits taking different substances, which is very, very bad.
That's a sad one. That's a sad one, Shola. Shola, now, could you tell us, from, having observed this, making, that statement that, they are the ones guarding and protecting the sellers of these drugs, what do you think we can do, like we humans? We're seeing that they are doing, the security operatives are doing things they're not supposed to do. Now, let's talk about we, the community. What can we do to curb this?
No, the law, that is the law against selling of those substances, is a very welcome development, in which those that in Nigeria, for example, Nigeria per se now, laws are being made. But enforcing that law, that's the major problem that is implicating the laws. There's a situation that they will make law in which still, as you rightly said the other time, that when you get to pharmacies, you see, go to the other pharmaceutical centers, you observe that those drugs, you don't see it on the display shelf. But in the room, they have those substances, those drugs, they are still selling it like tramadol and so on and so forth. But you find out that where are they getting those drugs from?
All right,
are they shipping it in? Or is it those at the border or those checking? Are they not doing their job or what?
All right, Shola. Maybe finally, can you tell us, give us a scenario of some of these of some of the reactions that you've seen, if there are any, from the people or the youths there who are engaged in some of these activities?
Most of it is just mental disorderiness. They misbehave. You find out that those youths are the ones used for political talks. Those consuming those drugs, they are the ones used as political talks, doing all these their political campaign and so on and so forth. Stealing and so on and so forth. I don't.
Thank you so much, Shola. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you made a very, very salient point there. It's obvious.
True.
That some of these guys are the ones maybe, being used as political talks.
You can't be in your right mind to be a political talk, to decide that, your country, the polity is not important and sacred enough that you want to manipulate and influence. No, I agree with Shola.
Yeah,
I think it has to, something must have to be wrong with you.
Something must have triggered you.
True.
To go all out, in snatching ballot boxes in the midst of, 1,001 people, and you have the nerve and...
Because if you can't do that for a candidate, then like it's a given that that person is not supposed to be in power.
Sure.
Someone who would pay for all of that is not supposed to be the one in the helms of affairs and, governing us and all of that. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. So you who wouldn't think about your country as a whole and the future and, the movement of your country and would do that, definitely must be on something. Thank you, Shola, for that contribution.
Seriously, Shola, we thank you very much. And don't forget, most times these guys are used and dumped.
Of course.
Because the political space has time limit. Now the governorship election is coming in Ekiti State. And before you know it, in July, the election is over. And if you're a political talk, at that point, your contract is over.
I was talking to someone, and the person told me that we're in the eve of political election, like we're the political eve, like this is 2017, is it? And of course, after 2019, you don't hear of these people. It takes another 4 years. You hear them ranting, and then you make complaints, you want to change things, and then the time comes, someone offers you, how much.
Right, Aisha, codeine is meant to be used in case you're having diarrhea, in case you're having severe pain, around your body, in case maybe you engage in an accident and the pain or there's a fracture, the doctor will now administer that so that, that pain will calm down, will subside, and then before they start administering some other, treatment on you. Now, if this is the original function of codeine, and now we have the other side of it, which we are talking about, what do you think our medical doctors should be doing at this point in time? Because I'm looking at a situation whereby you have a genuine a reason for approaching a pharmacist and telling him that, look, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm feeling. And he looks at you and say, hey, are you sure you're not?
You know, that's what they say about prescription. You know, it needs to be prescribed. But then again, we're in a situation where if someone just gets, you know, one thing with our medical doctors, I say that a lot, that's the way they write. So if you can just lay your hand on a handbook from your medical doctors, you understand, and then you just sign it, what's the authenticity of the prescription that someone will bring to you in the pharmacy, and then you know that this person has this, you know. Then I feel another thing, they're alternative to drugs. I've known that.
Yeah.
From look at malaria, for example. We've gone from the days of what they call it, the one that makes you green. I mean, how to say chloroquine, or
Chloroquine, yeah.
We've gone from those days to we went to days. You know, there's been evolution.
Yeah.
There's definitely people are allergic to some drugs and all of that, and there are other options. I think there should be options where, you know, they give people drugs, and people in the pharmacy, the pharmacists, you know, the ones, you know, in charge of producing drugs and all of that, should come up with, there should be money pumped into research, more research that would make them not use addictive substances, things that you're not feeling fine now, and they give it to you, prescribe it to you to start using, and then after you start getting better, you can't do without that particular thing. What is it? Drugs are there to, you know, help, and not to turn you to an addict and make it a national issue where, you know, they come and start banning.
All right, Aisha, we have some reactions, and we want our viewers to see this, and we'll be right back after that.
Yes.
I believe that today, between the executive and the legislature, we have found a common ground. The common ground was we debated, we took resolutions. The executive has found enough reasons and grounds to ban the production and importation of this deadly syrup. I therefore feel that this National Assembly, particularly the Senate, and essentially, especially our committees on drug and narcotics and health, should work with the Federal Ministry of Health and NAFDAC to ensure the total implementation of this ban.
And I think it's a great day, and for those of us who have been advocating for this for a long time, that we must tackle this issue of drug abuse, which is particularly affecting more of our girls and women, and it was a dangerous trend. Let's see that this ban is restricted and ensure that it works very well for us. I thank all my colleagues for this, and it shows again some of the good things that the two arms of government are doing together.
All right, that's coming from the Senate and the Senate President, the Senate leader and the Senate President, you know, concurring and trying to see how this codeine ban we're talking about can be curbed and curbed totally. Aisha, if the legislature now are, you know, trying to align with the executive in ensuring that this substance we are talking about is outrightly banned, I think, for me, there is a ray of hope, you know, for this country, not just this country, for the entire African continent. Because either we like it or not, Nigeria is a country that most African countries are looking up to. Forget about our challenges and all of that. It happens everywhere. America was hit in 9/11. A couple of days, there was a shooting in some of their schools.
Yeah.
We've seen bombs running through the streets of America. You know, so it doesn't make them a superpower than Nigeria. So what I'm trying to say now is that in as much as we have this alignment, I believe there is a ray of hope for our youth and for the future of this country. And don't forget, the Not Too Young to Run bill, if it's anything to go by, if it is what the Nigerian youth will leverage on, I believe that if this synergy is, you know, enhanced on the proper channels and through the proper perspective, I believe that the future is bright, or it will be better.
I totally agree with what you're just saying, because it's been done now, and, you know, we should accept it. There are reports out there that the reason, you know, for this, you know, for the Senate to come up and, you know, say this on May 1st and all of that is because of the BBC's documentary that the Senate President, you know, referred to. And about Susie Kodin, you know, as we spoke earlier. But I feel it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what reminded you. It doesn't matter what lit that light bulb, as long as it's lit. Do you understand? It's a problem. So even if it wasn't something we're you know, looking at in the first place, and that, you know, documentary brought our eyes to it, I think it was done, you know, rightly. And that's why I must say that those, for example, Ben Bruce, you know, tweeted in his official Twitter handle where he's now relating, you know, the ban against codeine and the increase in codeine consumption to bad governance. And I feel we shouldn't play politics about this. We shouldn't take it.
Anyway, he's entitled to his own opinion.
Yeah,
but for
like
me, I think that's taking politics too far.
Exactly, because
we are talking about something that is killing the next generation gradually. You saw the BBC documentary.
I did.
Young girls, young boys on chain. Are we back to the days of slavery? That's the question that should be.
Because
you know,
it's sad.
Very
It doesn't
sad.
matter how it's out. It doesn't matter what instigated it. It's a problem we have, and we must work. So kudos, you know, the Senate for this to be, you know, in front of them right now. I feel, and like we've been saying, procedures, process, and all of that, you know, to curb, you know, the implementation of this ban is key.
Yeah.
And it's a ban, but how it's implemented on the street. That even, you know, it'll be so difficult, not even so difficult. Yeah, it should get so difficult, then finally get eradicated, because it's a process. We can't just wake up and say, okay, there's a ban, and we expect not to see it, you know, anymore. It would take time, you know, for this to get into the system and then completely eradicated. There should be no black market. We should be patient with this ban to see to it that, you know, we get to a point where there would be no black market for it anymore. But if they want to go in full force and be like, okay, it's been banned and it's been, that's one thing. You can't come in with so much pressure like that and expect, you know, something to go. I feel this is going to be a process and it'll take time.
Yeah, we just hope that process will be, you know, activated as quickly as possible. Because now that we have the ban, if the process is activated, I think it's going to have, you know, a massive effect in curbing the use of some of these banned substances. And don't forget, it's not just codeine alone. We have some other substances which are also injectables.
True.
Yeah, you see people with syringe and needle. You think they are doctors or nurses. No. They are doctors, you know, and nurses on the other way around. You understand? Injecting some, you know, I think if the government is serious, they've taken the right step, you know, on the right direction. If they are serious, they should take a step further in ensuring that some of these injectables too are also banned. You know, sometimes I ask myself, are some of these drugs, you know, produced in this country? I know we have a few pharmaceutical companies in this country, but are some of those things actually produced here? If they are not produced here, then I will revert back to our porous borders, you know, where some of these things are being smuggled in. So these are some of the questions.
True.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, when you ask the questions about how, you know, the doctors and all of that, most of these things are here for the right reasons, to cure this, to help solve that, to make someone feel better, someone who is feeling, you know, a particular way, to help someone get over a pain or, you know, joint and all of that. They're here for the right reasons. But it's now the consumption. It's now the intake. That's what, you don't go with the daily dosage and then they overdose and all of that. It's just sad. We see, another thing I want us to not take light from is the fact that this is not just a Nigerian problem.
Yeah, sure.
Because we have so many people, you know, in the Western world, you hear died of overdose, you know, names and, you know, people that, you know, most of us look up to and all of that. So it's something that has been there.
It's a global issue.
It is. Yeah. So now that, you know, the Nigerian government is shining, you know, a spotlight on it now, I feel it's commendable. Because this is something that is, you know, affecting the globe.
The next generation.
It is.
Yeah, sure. Now, let's also look at it from another angle. Now, you agree also with me that some of the guys or some of the people involved in all of this are the young guys, you know, between a particular age and to a particular age and all of that. Now, what do you think is responsible for all of this? Is it depression? Is it like what our president said some couple of days back, that some of us are actually lazy?
You know, when you, as you were just thinking, I knew you were going there, and I was like, don't go there.
Oh, who knows?
Fires don't go there.
It could be part of it. That's just the truth.
Our phone lines are open, remember?
Yes, the phone lines are open.
You want Nigerian youths?
Do
you want Nigerian youths to start the hashtag Nigerian youths are not lazy? Those guys are not coming to play. They are serious. They will come for it. Yeah, I agree with that. On a more serious note, now, I think I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with the fact that, you know, it has to do with depression. It has to do with, it's like saying, when you think about people, okay, for example, they leave school or they're in school and they're having problems, you know, with their courses. They're not passing. They get, you know, peer pressured and, you know, meet some kind of friends. They just fall to these things. Because like I said, it's a temporary, you know, it makes you forget. So it just gives you that temporary illusion of everything is all right. Like I said earlier, they're very calm and their eyes. For people that have seen people that are on these drugs, you see that they are not themselves. They just tune off. So that's how you know. It's like saying that you're having a conversation with someone and then you just realize the person is no longer with you, and then you're watching and then you realize that, oh, this person is his own world. This person is somewhere else. So that's it. They just see it as an escape from unemployment, from, you know, bad grades, from bad, it's a lot. You can start from the family, you can start from school, you can start, but they just feel that this is a way for them to escape. And then when you escape once, because it's not permanent, it's temporary. So you do it the first time and then the second time, and then it becomes
a habit.
And an addiction.
Now, where do you think is the place of the family or the parents? Because like the report I did some couple of months ago, one of those guys told me that he had to leave home because they sent him an errand and he lost the money, and he knows that if he goes back home, it's going to be a serious issue for him. The other one told me that he was taken to a remand home and he had an opportunity, he escaped. And now he lives on the streets of Kano, doing drugs and some other, you know, illicit activities, if you ask me. So where do you think is the place of the parents, especially our mothers?
Everywhere. I think it's a lot. It's everywhere because with what you just said, how can a kid not want to go back home because he lost money? Like, that just, it amazes me. It's saying that money is more important than that child. For the child to feel that way, you can only imagine what the child is going through at home. So the place of the family is there because that's where the child starts from. That's where the child is. That's what the child sees. And not forgetting the fact that there are fathers who do this.
Sure.
There are fathers who are on
and in the presence of their kids.
You know, they're on in a different zone, I must say. And then their kids just, and they see things like the mother come and then talk to the father.
They pass it on to the kids.
You are saying, the mother will be saying things like, you are smoking this, or you are taking this, this is what is, you know, those kind of things. The kids are not blind. So they're there, they're seeing these things, they feel like it's okay. But for those that it's not even started in the house, peer pressure, the things that could be happening to the kids out there that they don't feel comfortable enough coming back home to talk about. And then they feel, okay, let me just go take this drug. Let me just take this thing to feel there's nobody for me to talk to. That's what I was talking about therapy earlier. All of these things, which is the place of the parents cannot be overemphasized. It's like, it's key, it's primary. And then next is now the school. You understand? Because that's the next place. You hear of some kids that they're scared of their parents, but they love auntie. They love auntie.
They can discuss heaven and
earth
with auntie.
Anything auntie says in school is the gospel.
Sure.
So they know that, oh no, if auntie says this, it must be like this. So that too, it should be in our schools. They should show them, you know, this is not the right thing. They should go for what they call it, excursions to rehab centers.
Rehab centers,
See what this thing actually does to be. You know, people just go and then they hear that it's not good in this, and then they take it. When you see the life, it happens when you go to the hospital and then you're humbled. Have you had that feeling when you go to the hospital, you see people, and then you just come back and you start thanking God for your life. You start praying that you're not sick, that you're healthy. That's what seeing firsthand does to you. So if they see that this is the effect that this thing has on these people, you see that their minds are gone, I think that would help.
Yeah, I think I want to align myself with what you just said. You know, having the school, you know, coming into all of this and ensuring that the kids are being enlightened, you know, in the adverse effect of codeine and other banned substances. Now, my next thought, is aligning towards my country, Nigeria. You hardly find schools with counselors.
True.
Even the teachers, how much are they being paid? Let alone having a professional counselor. Because if you have all of this, it will also help. Because the counselor might just look at a student walking, into the school compound, and maybe he knows that student very well, and you discover that the student is staggering, or is not mixing up with his peers, or he's trying to behave so funny. As a counselor, all you need to do is to figure out that child and summon that child to your office, and speak with him. I noticed that you look so beautiful today. Wow, how was your night? You look good. Hey, John, Adamu, Mohammed, how are you? Is anything the matter with you today? Before you know it, that child will open up to you.
Very true.
But it's very, very unfortunate that most of our schools don't have a counselor who will go around and check. Even if you have a student that is so obstinate in class, you can refer him to your counselor in school and say, please talk to this guy. He's very, very obstinate. And the counselor will sit him down. This is your future. Do you want to be like President Muhammadu Buhari tomorrow? Say, yes, I want to be like, okay, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. What are your plans for tomorrow? Say, I want to be a doctor. If you want to be a doctor, you shouldn't behave the way you are behaving. Your teacher said, you are very stubborn in class and you want to be a doctor. You cannot be a doctor with this attitude. The right words at the right time will help some of these children, have the right frame of mind and be better people, in the nearest future. I think counseling
goes a long way.
It
does.
Yeah.
It does actually. Coming back to, the Senate ban and, what's happening, I think I read somewhere in the statement that, the Minister of Health did.
Okay, very quickly, we have Onome from Lugbe. Onome, thanks for joining us on PTV.
Good morning.
Hello, Onome.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, Onome from Benin. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I really like the topic you guys are handling today, which is the abuse of codeine, and we are aware that the government has banned cough syrups containing codeine. But one thing they fail to understand is there are other drugs that codeine is being used. There are other medical drugs that they use codeine in. So I don't know what the government is doing about this. Look into this thing and know how to, do a general monitor on this use of codeine, because they are painkillers actually have this codeine substance in them. So if you ban the cough syrups, what happens to the painkillers? What happens to other drugs that have this codeine substance?
Right.
Okay, Onome, like you said, the ban was largely, it wasn't just codeine, it was other pharmaceutical ingredients, that have this addictive, substances in them. So it's quite broad. But we're using codeine. Codeine is more or less like the key one. That's what people, know and they're relating to.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This codeine substance itself is in other kind of drugs, not just cough syrup. That is in other kind of drugs.
Okay.
Codeine is used in other kind of drugs, also in large quantities. So I think the government should just look into these things and know how to control. And that's my contribution.
All right.
Thank you very much, Onome, for calling.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think citizens should also be part of this advocacy. If I should know of a pharmacy, or who most times will dispatch, some of this stuff out there. You go and blow the whistle or blow the vuvuzela. Yeah, if I know of a pharmacy.
It's another way to make quick
that's
money.
just it. No, that's just it. Because
True.
the government can only come with such
True.
policies.
True.
But we can also help from our own end, from the citizenship angle, to ensure that this ban is activated. If I know of a pharmacy today that maybe I go there to buy paracetamol and someone comes there and is staggering another and they give him a special package, I will, I will make sure that I tell NDLEA or NAFDAC that please go to this place, go and search.
I think I watched too much movies. Let me tell you why. There's a particular movie I watched recently, and we had the guy. He was a former addict. He used to take drugs and all of that. And then he went to a cafe. They sell food, like food, like burgers and all of that. And then he said, "Give me what's on the menu. I think that's what he said. And she gave him a wrap. You know when you use, what are you calling it? A foil paper to wrap something like, you know the way shawarma is now when you wrap shawarma?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was drugs that was wrapped that way and given to this guy. But when you look at it, you feel like it's shawarma, like it's, that's the thing. So you see all these things coming out in different packages. Someone will come to a pharmacy and say, I want the drug for, it could have, you feel like, you wouldn't even know. You're there in the same pharmacy. You're there to maybe get, you know, something else for headache or something.
All right, I think we have John Yusuf from Abuja. Hello, John. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Yeah, please go on with your contribution.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Can you please speak? Can you be audible? Please?
Yes, John, go on with your contribution. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
The impact of this codeine and how it affects people negatively. Hello?
We can hear you, John. Go ahead.
We're asking, what is your contribution to the topic, the ban on codeine?
Okay, the ban on codeine. I think it's a positive. It's a positive step to sanitize the environment because it has really affected people negatively.
True. Now, John, how have you observed? You're here in Abuja. What have you seen? What is substance abuse like in Abuja?
Yeah. Okay, let me use the area I live now.
Yes, please do.
You know, people really don't believe in what they can do except they try to either abuse drugs. And really, the young minds now are taking to this, that this is the best way they can, but it has really affected them negatively.
Of course.
All right. Yeah, John, what do you think citizens should be doing at this point in time, in as much as government, you know, has come up to say that we are placing an outright ban on codeine? What do you think the citizens should be doing?
Yeah. What they, you know, is a way forward. I think what they should be doing now is to embrace it and even go on campaigning. Because it will really help if codeine is taken out from our society.
Wow. All right.
True that. Thank you, John. That is a wonderful contribution. Like, if we give out polos today for you to go on the street, you're ready to do that.
I don't get it.
I said if we give you polo shirts to go out and campaign, you know, for the ban and stoppage of all of these addictive drugs, you're ready to do that with us?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
That's good to know that people are, you know, ready to.
Are really in support.
In this fight. It's good. It's a positive one. It's quite, you know, fulfilling.
All right, Aisha, we'll be calling it a wrap here.
Yeah.
And maybe we can also continue on this tomorrow, because if you ask me, I think it should be a continuous discussion.
It should.
Maybe we'll try to get a doctor who will come and tell us some of the health implications.
Explain more.
Yeah, explain more and give us deeper insight, you know, to some of the points we've been able to raise today. I think it will go a long way in sensitizing our people out there, in sensitizing Nigerians, in sensitizing even we ourselves, because sometimes we might run into these guys, and with the information we have, we'll be able to transfer it to them, telling them, the implications and all of that. And at the end of the day, we'll have a larger, better society.
True.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's been a wonderful program.
Yeah.
It's been informative. It's been, you know about your weather. I'm sure most of you now, you know, are still on your way. Some of you are in the office, but you know what to expect. And then you heard one or two headlines, one or two salient topics, you know, that we touched. Like we said, it's a new day. And here on New Day, we'll keep you abreast, in the know about the trending topics, the trending stories. We'll bring you guests, we'll bring you expert opinions to tell you and shed more light to the questions. Our lines will always remain open for your contributions, for your questions. And we just say, keep it to date. every morning with us, every week morning, and then, you know, your morning will be better and brighter, I promise you.
And don't forget, it's People's TV, so
yes.
we don't shut our audiences out.
Of course,
Yeah.
People's Television, powered by you. It's been a wonderful one.
Yeah, have a blessed day. This Codeine, you should not be smarter. Either you like it or not, it's crazy.
I was thinking that
Yeah. It's crazy, seriously. It's great.